Hey, Claire.
Right.
What's news?
Nothing. It's quite cold here. I'm having a cup of tea.
Me too, as usual.
That's something we have in common, isn't it? The love of tea.
Amongst many, many other things. What tea are you drinking?
Just some PG tips. Yeah, I had a friend from the UK visit me and she bought some PG tips. Forever
That's
grateful.
that's good because I'm drinking Tetley.
Nice.
And
Do you
it
think
was
we
a
could get
friend
some
of
advertising sponsorship?
yeah. It was a friend of mine who brought these to me as well. Although I really do love, as you know, Greek mountain tea is great with some honey in it.
Yeah. You like all sorts of tea, don't you? I'm
Oh, yeah.
now we're just talking about tea. You know what other thing?
It's very British of us for two people who left the UK so many years ago. That really is quite
Do you know what
British of
else
us.
is very British and that we have in common?
What?
Love of crisps,
Ah,
right?
yes, yes. I
How much do we
remember.
love crisps?
I remember evenings at your place when
Yeah,
when you were living down the road from me in Athens. The amount of crisps that we that we consumed, Claire.
a mountain of crisps.
Right?
But you see, that's interesting because when you go to different countries, you get different flavored crisps, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. And do you know what? I remember, do you know it's the brand Lay's, and they seem to have different flavors in different countries that you just can't get.
Yeah.
They have a tzatziki flavor here in Greece, for example, that I can't find elsewhere. Right? Yeah, I know.
And
It's
oregano is one in Greece as well.
yes. I know. I was going to say we're here calling them crisps, but I guess most of the world call them potato chips, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if that's because like in the UK, they're not always made from potatoes, are they? You get those like weird ones like discos and and square crisps and
What are
Monster
they?
Munch.
What are
They're not
they?
from potato, are they?
What are they from?
I don't know. God knows. Anything.
What are we eating half the time?
Yeah, I don't know, but I love them. It's nothing better than a good old packet of crisps.
You know how we tend to as teachers like bring in our sort of hobbies or likes into the classroom quite often. We'd encourage students to do the same. Do you reckon that we could turn our love of crisps into an activity?
Totally. I mean, okay, one that's just come into my mind is that whole thing we were talking about every culture having a particular flavour of crisps. And so, I mean, you could get students to, if you've got a multilingual, multicultural classroom, you could get students to share the crisps or invent a flavour that would
Mm,
represent their country the most
right, right. Yeah.
and why and yeah. What about you?
I
What would
was
you do?
I was just thinking like this actually might put me off eating crisps again, actually. But I've just been thinking of the amount of packaging, and how bad that is for the environment. Perhaps it could be like the story of a crisp packet from
Mm,
beginning to like where does it end up, maybe.
yeah,
I don't know
the
whether you
whole
could do like a
story.
right, like in either as a comic book, where kind of a comic strip where first of all that packet of crisps is puffed up, and you know how they're always
Yeah.
full of air and barely any crisp. Well, it's like kind of puffed up like that.
Yeah. Where does that
Um,
air come from?
I don't know. I don't know. And then, it gets eaten, it gets discarded, and maybe it falls out of
Yeah.
the rubbish bag onto the street, and the wind takes it. And what happens after that? Maybe, I don't know.
I wonder, like in a young learner classroom, you could take that further. Did you ever like put a crisp packet in the oven and it shrunk and it became like this little crisp packet? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Maybe they
Yeah.
could like make jewelry or something to spread the word of like plastic pollution. Could be
Yeah.
a plastic pollution festival in the school to raise awareness.
So they do something with the packaging that's more permanent, or
Yeah.
hmm.
See? There's so many things you can do with crisps.